You know, when II Invitational first came out, I completely understood that the show was supposed to be of lower quality compared to Season 2. But so far, the surprisingly high quality of the show has seriously surprised me. The solid animation, the sharp writing, the enjoyable characters, it always surprised me how well made each episode has been. Especially considering the very short time frame they're made in, with about a month between each episode. And that's great, but I will admit that it really heightened my expectations for all of the future episodes. Maybe more than it should have. Because sadly, the latest episode was pretty underwhelming to me. And what's funny is that it wasn't even that bad, it's just that in comparison to the other episodes in the series so far, it just isn't as good. It's really just the little things, specifically in the story. First off, there were a couple more predictable jokes than usual, like the cliche of a character's frown literally turning upside down. It's not even done in an interesting way. Test Tube doesn't freak out over how physically improbable it is or anything, it kinda just happens and the joke is over. There's a physical disgust from trying to apologize for something cliche. Again, there's not much of a unique spin on it, so it just feels awkward. I would have liked a more physical gag or a reference. It would have gone a long way. We get another gag about everyone being moved by Box's silence. Yeah, we haven't seen that for the 80th time. There was also one weird joke that just didn't even land in the first place. When Tea Kettle faked making a picnic and she instead used the Pixnick's tables to make one for her, she says that she was framed and Nickel's like, "We'll see how you hold up in court." And then a Law and Order sound effect plays and that's it. The story just continues like nothing ever happened. That gag just did not work at all for me. It was just so awkwardly executed and felt out of place. It's like Adam tried to commit to an overly dramatic moment, but then just stopped halfway through the joke so it feels unfinished. But there were some solid jokes here and there. The Thinkers were definitely the highlight of the episode. This scene here where they drop the egg is perfect just for their facial expressions alone. I love how Filing Cabinet has to look up what Snollygoster means in her files. It's a detail that I heavily appreciated. And it's freaking amazing that out of all of the characters in this season, Box got the most dramatic elimination by far. The slow-mo as he gets smashed, the gratuitously long fall down the hill and getting set on fire, the random doctor coming in telling everyone that his state is too dangerous for him to continue playing in the game because his physical trauma prevents him from taking in proper oxygen, it's great. However, this does bring me to another problem I have, but it's more of a personal gripe. Because of Box being pulled from the game, we don't get an elimination scene. I would have liked if Box wasn't in critical condition and he stayed around a little longer for the elimination. It would have been funny to see his team argue over whether or not he should stay in the game because of his injury and then have him be eliminated. But that's honestly just a way I wish it went. It's not really objective criticism. Something I do think is a bigger problem though is how abruptly this ends the episode. The challenge didn't finish, the conflict between Cabby and Test Tube didn't feel resolved, and I don't know about you, but I really wanted to see Yin Yang as an egg. For example, the conflict between Cabby and Test Tube in this episode, like I said, felt rushed. Because it felt like Adam had to really exaggerate their passive aggression and hostility for them to actually start arguing. Like, listen to this.
Hey Cabby, can you remind me what the melting temperature of plastic is? My clumsy self always forgets.
I don't know, Test Tube. It's clear you're not interested in utilizing my database.
So you want to sabotage us now, huh? Way to be a snollygoster!
They sound like they woke up on the wrong side of the bed and then fell off a 10-story building. And at the end of the episode, they were kind of just like, "It's all our fault, Box has to leave." Which, yeah, it was their fault, and it's cool that they realized that, but nothing else was said. That's not a very satisfying end to the conflict. They didn't even say anything to each other in the end. This abrupt ending just makes the episode feel weirdly short, not just with the runtime, but also with the narrative. A slightly more fleshed out story with a longer runtime would have done a lot to improve this episode. But again, this episode wasn't terrible, it's just that its mediocrity makes it look a lot worse when compared to the others. While I really do care about this show being good overall, I also really want it to remain consistent in its quality. Since this show isn't given a big budget, it's of course understandable how it's not always amazing. But I want its quality to at least maintain some consistency throughout each episode. I don't need it to always be great, I just want it to be good at what it wants to do. And I hope the crew learns from this episode and allows this show to continue doing what it wants to do.